Asia's leading cloud hosting provider since 2001 with 20 years of experience. But today, we are more than that. We power over 160,000 businesses worldwide, covering SMEs, government agencies, corporate companies, individuals, and more, offering domain name, web hosting, server, cloud, managed e-commerce, digital marketing, business solutions, marketing tools, and more. With our core values in mind: reliable, affordable, simplified, and advantage. Using the power of technology to grow your business online. Exabytes, Southeast Asia's leading all-in-one business, cloud, digital, and e-commerce solution provider.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.
SmarterMail is the cost-effective Microsoft Exchange alternative that includes a secure webmail client that is as functional as a desktop application, personal and shared calendars, complete contact management, including a global address book, cloud-based file storage, real-time audio and video instant messaging, comprehensive reporting, and team workspaces for true team collaboration. In addition, SmarterMail lets you work across all mobile devices, email clients, or desktop clients using all the same protocols Microsoft Exchange offers. The choice is yours.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.
Have a dream? Let's materialize my dream. Online store. Get ready in 3 days. Exabytes helps to materialize your dream with an online presence.
Ever since a child is born, a passionate nurturing is needed if you want a healthy growth in the long run. The same pattern applies to growing your precious company. Here at Exabytes, we help empowering your brand just like a baby by executing the right strategies at the right time with the sole purpose in mind, bringing more sales with the right marketing tools. We leverage world-class marketing tools like email marketing, local business listing, and call traffic to grow your online presence and stay connected with your customers. Exabytes' dedicated web hosting offers your website the high performance and flexibility it needs for more traffic and faster loading time. Did you know 99% of people check their SMS? SMS marketing gives the best value for your money. Exabytes' bulk marketing solution offers you a 14-day free trial to blast messages and higher conversions. Broaden your brand awareness, enhance productivity, and gain online recognition like never before. Visit Exabytes today to learn more.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.
I dreamt. I saw it coming. And I made it happen. By taking a tiny step to decide on my very own domain. Exabytes helps to build your dream. Make it come true. We provide domain names, premium domain names, and international domains. Extensions that you can name it. Exabytes makes your dream come true. Exabytes. Grow your business online.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so if you can hear me loud and clear, kindly type 1 in the chat box. Okay, great. So thank you for joining us today and welcome to our Singapore Website Award 2022 webinar series. And today we have interesting panel discussion lined up for you. All right, so let's see. Our panel comprises of Jocelyn Go, our video queen from Just Go Visible, and she will be joined by Eugene, the SEO king from Shout For It, as well as our lovely Minoli, our content expert at the Mini Project. So before we go into today's session, let me share with you on how our webinar goes. So all attendees are muted by default. If you have any questions throughout the session, you can just type in your questions into our Q&A box, and our speakers will answer your questions after the sharing. So without further ado, let's go into our session today. So over to you, Jocelyn.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So I think like what Sammy just did, let me know if you hear me loud and clear. Can you type 1 in the chat if my audio is good for you? Okay, I see Studio 5, Genuine, all right. Okay, so great. So firstly, I think we want to thank Exabytes for inviting us to participate in this year's Singapore Website Awards to share some professional discussions with you guys, and hopefully, I'm not sure where you guys are from, we'll find out in a while. Hopefully it helps some of you, be it in your business or in your professional life. So before I bring on the guest, maybe you guys let us know, which industry you're from. Like type into the chat which industry you're from. So I think our panelists here today, my role is moderator, but I'll chime in my thoughts as well. Our panelists here will be able to better contextualize our content to you guys. That's the essence of it, right? Context. Yeah, context and content. Context is very important as well. Wow, I see student Anthony. Cool, cool. Anthony, are you planning to go into maybe digital marketing? Okay, we have people from Marcoms, we have people from media, we have a hypnotherapist as well. Okay, cool, cool. Who else? Right. Wow, we have tech from cloud computing and infrastructure. Okay, great, great. Right, so without further ado, I'm going to introduce our two panelists today. We have ladies first. We have Minoli from the Mini Project. So Minoli, I'll let her introduce herself in a while. So maybe Minoli, share a little bit with us what you do and what's your key area of profession and expertise.
Okay, thanks, Jocelyn. Yeah, and thanks, Exabyte, for having me today. Really happy to be here discussing this topic I absolutely love. So I'm a content strategist and copywriter. I'm also an entrepreneur and I run my content agency, the Mini Project here in Singapore. So before, to give you a kind of an idea about my experience and what I do right now. So before running my own business, I was the marketing lead at a parent-focused startup where I held many roles. So I started there as a copywriter, creating content aimed at parents. I then took on the role of social media manager for Singapore. After that, I set up a influencer marketing agency for that business, and that was a very interesting. Gig as well. So when I left in 2020, I was the marketing lead there, and so I was overseeing app marketing, event marketing, partnerships, and influencer marketing. So today I help companies with their content marketing strategy, planning, and also various aspects of copywriting. Yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you, Minoli. So let's hear from actually he's in the middle of the poster. So he is also the main guy because we have the word SEO, right? And SEO is something that's very important when it comes to websites. So we have Eugene, our SEO king today from Shout For It. So let's welcome Eugene, and maybe Eugene share a little bit with us, what he does for clients and for people in the industry.
Hi, my name is Eugene.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Hi there. Hi, everybody. Hi, my name is Eugene, the SEO king. And I was the former digital director of Standard Chartered Bank in Singapore. And I'm also a student mentor with Lithian Academy. Right now, we also help their diploma students in digital marketing implementation projects. I'm also involved in startup mentoring at Republic Poly. Now, you may ask, why shout for it, right? In a crowded marketplace, the one who shouts the loudest gets hurt. So similarly, in businesses, you cannot afford not to use SEO and content, right?
Yeah, definitely, and that's why we are here. And that's why if you want a great and perfect formula, you need all three of us. I haven't thought about myself. Okay, so hi, I'm Jocelyn. I'm the co-founder and director of Just Go Visible. What we do is we are very much focused on video content. So video content includes branding videos, marketing videos, live stream productions as well. And of course, with the trend now, we are going into micro videos as well. So I think we'll talk a little bit more about that later, But right now, I want to start the ball rolling with, of course, let's talk about SEO first. So the core of today's matter is also still SEO, and we're going to see how content marketing is, increasingly finding its weightage, towards SEO. So maybe Eugene, you can share with us, what do you think of content marketing's role right now in SEO as a strategy?
Well, I think definitely content marketing has a lot of weightage, because after all, a website that people look at, no matter how good your SEO is, if your content, you are not writing for the human, people just close off the browser, right? That's for sure. But in order to understand content marketing and why content marketing is important in its totality, let me perhaps paint you and take you back memory lane. And we're talking about 1994, back in the 90s when we were all younger, right? 1994, Yahoo was born. 1998, 4 years later, Google was born. Have you ever wondered why Google was the #1 search engine in the world today? Except China, of course, because they block everything. Right? And why Google was able to dominate Yahoo? Because people found Google a more relevant search engine the moment Google is launched, right? That means Google was able to pull out more relevant first page listing of websites when compared to Yahoo. And this has very much got to do with content, right? And how does Google, able to win the game? Google, does it in two ways. Google buy tech companies and Google roll out algorithms, right? The tech companies that Google bought are basically YouTube, Picasa, which now forms the basis of Google Photos that we have today. The mapping company called WAZE, which formed the basis of the Google Maps that we have today. And of course, Eugene Software, which forms the Google Analytics that we have today, right? Now, Google roll out all these algorithms, Panda, Penguin, Pigeon, Hummingbird, and RankBrain, right? We will not cover all of this because that will be a lesson by itself. But basically, Google roll out all these things because people were trying to cheat the search engine. People were trying to just cram content, cram keywords that the content doesn't make sense, but it rank, right? So that is why through all of this, Google was able to dominate its position over Yahoo and became a relevant search engine because Google focused on ranking and basically websites that with relevant content, they get ranked on Google page 1, right? Yeah. Over to you, Jocelyn.
Okay. So I think what I got from Eugene's sharing is basically Google is #1 right now. If you look at their strategy of the companies they are buying over, they are actually buying over companies of various types of content that people need in search. Whereas maybe Yahoo was still stuck on like just text search. Yeah, so Google was actually taking in all kinds of content, and instead of course developing everything from scratch themselves, they just buy a ready company. Yeah, and that actually powers up their search engine more and more because you give people a variety of what they might need when they search for something and it's relevant to their needs. I think the intention behind is really to better fit people's needs as fast as they can.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I feel as a marketer / consumer, because I don't think I'm a pure consumer anymore. We are all unpure. If you're a marketer, you're not a pure consumer anymore. Right? Yeah. So I think that, and of course that's why I think that's the strategy for any business. If you put your customers' needs at the core, right? Yeah, that's a sure win. It's the rest are just how to reach their needs faster.
So we all recall, right, back when the time when we were younger in the 90s, when Google just rolled out, what I did was I compare, this Yahoo and Google. Then I realized after many searches, right, Google actually returned, more relevant. So I kind of ditched Yahoo, and that's exactly what a lot of people are doing, right?
Yeah. So I think we are talking about relevance. I mentioned context just now. I think the best person to chime in on this is probably Minoli.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Minoli will definitely share with us, how do you make your content more relevant to people, because SEO brings people to where you are.
Yeah.
But the key is, can you keep people there longer, right?
So that's a big conundrum a lot of us have, right? A lot of businesses, not just content marketers, businesses, right? Because we focus too much energy sometimes on just bringing the people in, and then we overlook the fact that you need to give them really good content to stay, right? So one point that Eugene made earlier when he was talking was right for humans, right? Yes, it is important to include those keywords, to do your keyword research and create content, or find out what types of content you should create. But one key point you shouldn't be forgetting is right for humans. Okay. And that kind of brings me, I want to actually give some value and, mention a few content marketing hacks, right? Or content copywriting hacks you can try when you're creating content. And just to answer Jocelyn's question of how do you keep people? So one thing is write for humans. Okay, don't forget the audience you're writing for. Understand the audience you're writing for, right? And if you don't have a really good understanding about who you're trying to target, you're going to bring in everybody, or people who just go for clickbait articles, right? And you're not going to really serve them once they get onto your website. So yes, write for humans, answer a question that they are trying, that they really want to, that they want answered. Aim to figure out those big problems they're having and answer those questions. And if you really think about it, it's not rocket science. You're really talking to your audience. Okay, always remember you're a human first. Talk to them on it, at that level. And then another a bit of a technical tip is to write in-depth articles. Okay, so yes, the trend is always, because people's short attention span, people are, that's why video, I mean, and Jocelyn, you can vouch for this, that's why more and more people are watching video, right? However, if you want to rank, if you want people to, yes, you're writing for humans, and video is a good way to kind of connect that. However, you also want to kind of get those keywords and get people reading, right? Get the machine to understand you as well. And that is one way of doing that, is write in-depth articles. Okay, so there was a research done, and it was said that words, any kind of blog post or any kind of content that has 2,000 words or more is beneficial. Okay, so that's a lot. That's a lot of words. So on average, the article I would write for a client, and a client would say, hey, nothing more than 1,000. But then, I advise them, go above that, try 1,500 words. Why? Because, it's a plain and simple fact that Google loves in-depth articles, right, Eugene? So,
Yes.
when it comes to SEO, Google loves that, right? And your potential clients also love that, because the thing is, the way you kind of bridge that and not make that a boring article is to remember that human element. Answer questions throughout your article, right? Answer questions, relevant questions. So if you're talking about a certain topic, right, throughout your article, aim to answer. Don't ramble on, and don't create it in one big chunk, right? Put subheadings. Google loves subheadings too, right? So put subheadings in there, bullet points, infographics, make it interesting, and drive people through, so that they keep scrolling. And then also another thing to remember, another hack, is don't forget your calls to action throughout your article. So don't think that a call to action just needs to appear at the bottom. Okay, throughout your article, kind of insert calls to action, links to other parts of your website, so that should somebody drop off at some point, you've given them something, you've at least given them a segue to one of your other pages, right? So that increases your time on site. It increases the number of pages consumed. So if you're always, us marketers, we're data driven, right? So if you're looking at the data, you want to see those numbers, you want to see increase on page, you want to see increase on site time, in terms of time. So things like that will increase that data as well.
Yes, and I like the fact that Minoli said that you need to identify your target audience. Here's the problem with a lot of business owners, right? They think that everybody is my target audience. If I have if I have anything, everybody is my target audience. That is very difficult to, as what we say, to write a message that sounds personalized enough, that the person will stay on the content long enough, right? And that's why we have a good balance. And also videos, right? People just say, oh, video marketing is the next thing. So is it you just roll out videos, or you have to also plan your content? That's why we have assembled together to really address all these very practical business issues that people face, right?
Yeah, I think the essence of digital marketing is always, to us, digital marketers, we always know that you have to be targeted, right? You talk to everyone, you talk to no one. I always share this story with my students, my learners, when I do trainings. I say, even our PM's speech, you just go and listen. It's not generic, it's targeted. he always has different segments for the different cultures or different races, you know, and it's different. Even his content that is executed in the different language talks about different things. It's not the same thing done in different languages. Yeah. So even the PM speech, which is supposed to reach at the entire nation, right, has its targeted segments as well. So it's the same in actually online digital marketing, or rather I would say modern marketing, right? Because whatever content you put out, it should correctly attract the customers that you want, and not everyone. Yeah. Similarly, even if you can say TV ads is very net casting method, right? But still, the content you put in the ad, you want to attract the right people. Yeah. So I think like what Minoli shared just now with all her, you know, the techniques that she shared of engaging people, how to better be found, like by answering people's questions, right? End of the day, like she said, it's really not rocket science. You just put yourself in the shoes of your potential customer and what problems they might have. So, but for Eugene, maybe you can share a bit, because maybe not everyone in the audience here is very familiar with SEO, right? So like help them see the link of how good content and relevant content helps in SEO ranking then.
Well, firstly, having a good content firstly enables that your audience will actually read on the site, whereas SEO can only bring you the traffic. But if you don't have relevant content, then you end up with a lot of all these things called bounce rate, which is like, you know, people watch your content, and then, you know, after 3 seconds, you know, they kind of close off the browser because it doesn't relate to them, or because you're writing too broadly as what we have discussed, right? And basically having good content ensure that your target audience will actually read and even interact, like what Minoli said earlier about the call to action. Your content lead to a call to action. Perhaps your content is about your latest kitchen cabinet technology that you are using. You are a kitchen cabinet company, and your content will lead to a call to action to say, you know, come and visit our showroom. And more often than not, one of the quick ways to reduce bounce rate is basically having a video. So having a video on the page, because if you're having text, it's too much text. Having a video on the page ensures that when people read the text, and they actually can play the video, because there are different ways in which people are connected. Some like to watch video, some like audio, that the audio component that you know, the video provides. Some like to read, right? So one of these ways is, that's why you need video marketing, you need content marketing, and you need to optimize both your videos and your content on the website for SEO. When you optimize your videos in YouTube for SEO, your videos will end up ranking in the Google search engine result if people type in the keywords that you're optimizing for, right? And you know, perhaps Jocelyn, in your professional capacity, right? You know, how do you see like video being a more widespread content in social media, maybe over the years, right?
Okay, maybe let me engage the audience a little bit.
Yeah.
Those of you who are here, right? I'm sure you either you run your own business, or you represent your company, or it's relevant to your work somehow. How many of you actually has like a YouTube channel for your company, and you guys actually post videos there? Just type in the chat. If you have a YouTube channel, type 1. If you do not have, type 2.
It's not a trick question.
Yeah. That's why I make it easy to type. Okay, it's either 1 or 2.
So Jen has, Jen.
Okay, so it seems like it's a minority. A minority, right? Yeah. Anthony has his personal channel. Okay.
Oh, I know. I know Anthony's channel. Quite interesting. I know
what
Anthony
does he
personally.
Talk about?
Anthony, can you tell us what you talk about?
Yeah, you can share your link. It's okay, free publicity. Okay, so seems that most, like quite a lot here, don't have a YouTube channel. And number one, I think a lot of people have a misconception that if I want to do a YouTube channel, it means I need to grow it big. so I can monetize and etc. But that's not the only way a business can use a YouTube channel. I think one of the very key things for a business to host your videos on YouTube is, number one, nowadays when you guys do Google search, right, especially when it comes to how-to videos, right, can you tell me what you observe from the search page? What is the whole big section right on top before all the word articles come out? What do you all notice? There's whole big chunk of choices that you see before the word articles are listed there. What is that section that you guys see? Can you type in the chat, those of you who know? Yeah. Jen has YouTube YouTube channel. That's why she knows. Yeah, the video results comes out first. Right. But of course there are techniques on how whether your video will appear in that part. Like who gets it first. Of course, number one, views matter, but maybe you are in a very niche market. A product, I would say product, if it's a very direct kind of product video that you hosted and put on YouTube, like for example, kitchen cabinets, right? Because I reckon a lot of our kitchen cabinet contractor will not have YouTube. But if you right now, your company does this, or you're an ID firm, and you go and put this video up, you have very low competition. So there's a higher chance you appear in the video result when people search, right? Because the regular YouTuber seldom talk about kitchen cabinet ma. So I would say actually this is an advantage for product-based companies right now. Because when it comes to service-based companies, maybe like we do digital marketing, right? Honestly, I have very high competition for my type of content on YouTube.
Yes.
Right? Because so many, even the YouTubers talk about how you do Instagram, and they are just content creators. They are not even agency. So if I'm an agency now and I'm going to put such content, yes, I do have more competition. So I will have to work a bit harder on my SEO, like do everything that Eugene said. That means have your blogs, put your videos in your blogs so you catch people who absorb information in different ways. And then on YouTube, I think right now one very important, because I just started a media platform for women content. Of course, growing a YouTube channel is not easy, right? But I do notice a very important thing to practice now. For example, let's say Jen, you have your YouTube channel right now. If you guys notice right now when you search and the video results come out, they don't just give you the video, they give you that particular section. You tap in that you can get your answers straight away. You don't have to scroll through the entire video to get something answered. So this is very important, where you need to add time code chapters into your YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah, that's one. So if you do have a YouTube channel right now, you have old videos that may be a bit stale already. You know what you can do is actually you can go and add the time code chapters. It's very easy. Just search online how to do it. The first step is you must start the first chapter at 00.00. Then the rest you just put the minute and second in, and you type that section of roughly how people will search. Yeah, like how to, or best kitchen cabinet, silent kitchen cabinets, non-slamming kitchen cabinets. I mean, these are things that your potential customer will search, right? So firstly, you also need to understand how your target audience online behavior is as well. Yeah, so I think, of course, definitely videos. Then, of course, uploading of subtitles, uploading of captions. I would say these are also key things, because all these things add up. Right, all these things adds up to how well you can appear when people search for something on Google. And we haven't even got to the part about social media, but maybe we can talk about this later. Yeah.
Yes, so, and actually on the part of when Jocelyn mentioned interior design company, I was very tickled. Because I was really very tickled, because interior design company, what they like, right? They like you know, their websites to be, you know, a lot of images and all that, and very little text, right? So Minoli, we could do a power team with our friend, the photographer friend, right? That we could target interior design companies SEO, right? Because they hardly have any content. Do you agree, Minoli?
Yeah, that's true. See, one big reason. See, I wanted to just also bring up, a big hurdle a lot of businesses have when deciding to invest in content, like for video or written content like what I do, or video like what Jocelyn does, is the conversion, right? People wonder, how can you justify right? Because how does it convert? Because that's you need to answer to your management, or if you're an entrepreneur, you want things that convert really fast, right? However, what I have found is that how you align your content to make sure you set it up to make sure that it converts is to align your content strategy with your business strategies. Okay, so if there's a like if for example you have certain business strategies and those or business goals, right, and those are not aligned or communicated with marketing or content, right, there's always like no alignment, and then when it comes to showing results, they fall short, right? So one thing that you can do really when you are planning your content is align your content with achieving your business goals as well. So your business goals should trickle down to your marketing goals, which trickle down to your content goals. And then you allocate it for various segments like, written content, video content, and so on. Okay. And another thing that you can do is, see, you get trends and then you get trends. Every year there's something new. The videos, like Jocelyn said, micro videos, right? Videos are getting shorter, but the thing is with trends, what you need to remember is you need to take an integrated approach. Okay, you can't take just follow a trend because it's trending, because what you need to understand is as a trend grows, it will also, it will also come down and then something else will come up, right? So you need to make sure that you have a backup. You need to make sure that your content strategy is integrated and that there are various different angles. You're getting SEO traffic, so you're kind of allocating budgets for SEO. Then you're allocating budgets to, you have to think about it. Don't forget about your funnel, how people move through your the customer journey, right? They come in, you need SEO. You need different types of content at different parts of your customer journey. When they come onto your website, to really grab their attention, make them stay, video really, really works. Okay, then they need to find out more about your brand, right? So they're learning more, you're trying to now convert them. You need written content, because content that they will start going back to, that will link to various solutions you have, right? Then again, video comes in, because video is a great tool to actually push people who are stuck on the fence, right? Through testimonials, different types of content. So you're not only looking at the various forms of content, but you're looking at, even within video, even within written content, you're looking at the various types of content that you can produce. So my overall message is, don't be pigeonholed into one type of content just because it's trending. Okay, look at the overall your overall. There's so much content to explore. There's so much you can do, and each one has a value, right? And each one converts and plays a role at a different point. So really understand your customer's journey and figure out what type of content, work with people, who can help you figure out what type of content works at different portions. And then you need to understand, okay, if your video is not just converting people, right? Maybe you're using a video at the wrong point. Maybe you're addressing the wrong questions, right? So Jocelyn, you're nodding. Maybe you can add, some points to this. I see you're totally agreeing with me, but I see this misalignment happening a lot, right? Where people expect certain things from a certain piece of content, and it fails to deliver, right? Do you agree with me, right?
Yeah, so I think this is well, it's not exactly about today's topic, but I would say, I mean, those of you here who are considering to invest some money into a video production, like paying someone to help you, right? There's a difference when you work with a company that has the strategies for you versus hiring a freelance videographer/editor. Because a videographer editor is great at what they do, which is to make your visuals look nice, make sure your audio sounds good and clear, but they are not a marketer. So you can say, oh, I do my own script. Ask the person, you film me here, I stand here, then my car showroom, for example. I want to show that car, I want to show that door, okay, for example. They will do it, right, based on your instructions. But the thing is the execution really optimized and maximized to achieve your objective? So for example, I don't call myself, I'm not a videographer or editor, although I can do it, but because my main purpose when I work with my clients is to get them clarity. Firstly, what do you want the video to do for you? Secondly, then how can we achieve that for you within maybe whatever constraints you have? Is it a location constraint? Is it somebody doesn't want to show their face or whatever? Or what is the key message you want to convey? And then we work with videographers, editors to best bring out the message that you want. Yeah, so it's again back to, I think, execution of any marketing or digital marketing campaign always starts like that. You have your objectives, you have your goals, and then it's just how to get there with the piece of content. So it's not just video is in trend, so I hire a videographer to do video for me. You know, you don't need strategy for maybe you pay 25-30% more with a strategist involved, right? But it will bring you more, maybe I would say, more accurate results. Yeah, then you say you choose, videographer, editor, the freelancer only charge me a few $100s ma, then it gets it done, right? But it's a bit like you are hiring a part-time maid to clean your house, but then you expect her to also wash your car and all that, then she's not gonna take care of the big picture for you. Yeah, their job is to deliver something with good visuals, good audio, but they are not your strategists. So that I would say, if you care about the results, you should work with a company that someone can plan and strategize for you. That person might not be really a video expert, but they will be able to give you strategy and direction. Yeah, and end of the day, the objective is important. And I think I totally agree with where does the video appear in the customer journey? That's important. Yeah, a lot of the clients who come first time they are getting video done, of course, then I would recommend have depending on the stage of their business, if they've been around for more than 5 years and they don't have a branding video yet, I would recommend that. Because I find maybe Eugene can share your thoughts as well. Word content is great, right? It definitely touches people. People read a statement like, whoa, that's me, I have that problem, right? But I find that video adds credibility. Like when Minoli said testimonial videos, if somebody is willing to appear on camera to talk about you, it is so much more credible than a text testimonial for sure. Secondly, if you have a company branding video, you show people from the team and all that, that definitely increases the credibility and the quality feel of your website. It's like if you go to a store, maybe even in our Heartlands area, HDB area, both stores sell the same thing. One has a LED panel at the outside that you can interact and look at stuff. The other store is just very maybe mom and pop, but they sell similar things. Right? Very likely the modern customer now feels more impressed with, got LED panel, looks nice, looks quality, I want to go in. Right? So you imagine how long the person spent in the store is the same as how long they spend on your website. Yeah, so when you put in more interactive elements like that, I find that it increases credibility and people will feel more compelled to, explore more things with you, be it their time or to even leave behind their information to talk to you.
Actually, that is true, right? Coming to the point on the leaving of information, I think SEO and good content on your website can only do so much, right? It's not that it's not important, but it can only do so much. The question that you ask yourself, what is the next call to action? Do they subscribe to your email newsletter where they can connect, they can engage with you better, right? And in terms of video building community, the question that you need to ask is, where is your community residing? Because we are also talking about content, right? And one thing we need to aware is also this: where will people search from? People don't just search from google.com. It will be very silly to just assume that all people will just search from google.com. Today, people are in Facebook, people are in Instagram. Facebook, Instagram, they also have their search feature.
TikTok.
Right? TikTok, yes. They also have the search feature, right? When you search something, it appears, right? So, let's share our thoughts, right? I mean, maybe Minoli can share about how content is able to build community, and Jocelyn can also chime in on how video helps to solidify the relationship, right? Let's explore this topic, right? I think it's important. Yeah. Minoli, over to you, man.
Okay, so how content helps to build communities, right? So I think a lot of community discussions, and that's a really good place where you can really understand your audience. We're going back to our audience, right? We mentioned that you need to really understand your audience. And I think it all begins with the audience, it ends with the audience, right? And that's where communities are built as well. Communities are built around topics, right? And common topics that people enjoy talking about or they find relevant. Okay, and then your business is there, so you need to see context to everything, right? Your business is there to solve problems of this specific audience that within a community. So there are different ways of going about it. So you can build a community or you can join a community. Okay, I would say a lot of companies, what they do is build a community, right? Build a community discussion. The next question comes, where do I build this community, right? That's where social media comes. Social media is a great place to build communities. Okay, it is a fantastic because engagement, right? Simply because of engagement. You get engagement when you build a community on social media. So again, just like any other platform, social media has what it's great at and what it's not great at. So you need to really know how to gauge if you're using social media correctly. It's a great content dissemination platform as well, right? However, as a content strategist, what I always say is you need to think about how your content is in terms of a journey to a home, right? Your home needs to be your website because that's where SEO will drive traffic. That's where, and everything else is a dissemination slash a pit stop on your journey home, right? So your communities are here as well. And then you build communities in these platforms because you have the people there, you have the audience. And then building audience or building communities, it's fantastic because that is where they discuss the biggest problems, right? And these are the problems that you are trying to fix as a brand, as a product or a service. So you need to be present in these communities. Either you look for communities that are discussing, so you get subject topic based communities that are on various platforms, right? And then, or you build a community. So let's say you're an organic food distributor, right? And you need to see, okay, why am I addressing the right things on my website? Build a community, right? If you don't find a community that already exists and you feel, oh, it's a 30,000 large group, I might find it difficult to build a community that will compete with this. Then you can find a way, get to know the admins, get to know, find a way in, so that you could either get in there in a legitimate way, right, without spamming, right? Because that's another issue, right? You get a lot of brands that go in and advertise, which your community doesn't love, right? Because authenticity, people really value authentic discussions, and they second guess brands that advertise on communities. So you have to really think twice about how you approach a community. Okay, so yeah, that means you need to have etiquette. Community etiquette is very important in instances like that, right? So you either build or join, then you need to figure out how you interact within that community. Okay, so what are you expecting? So again, go back to your goals. What are you expecting from this community? So there are various, as a marketer, there are various things I would look at from my expectations when it comes to my expectations. One could be, I want to address these big problems. Then you're a listener, you're a social listener, and you can do social listening, right? Another thing is, I want to answer problems, but you can answer problems only as a brand, only if you are there as the creator. Okay, and you have established, because otherwise you're going against the social etiquette, right, within communities. So then the next one would be, I want to drive traffic. That's the most dangerous one, right? Trying to drive traffic from communities, because again, people worry about brands that advertise and brands, links that are posted. So you have to use a very careful community strategy when you are actually operating within these communities that are housed on social media. Okay, so understand why you're using communities, understand how you need to build the communities, and understand how to interact, what's the right way to go about things. Because after all, your brands your brand's reputation matters, right? And if you are spamming, because a lot of brands would just get into communities in order to just spam links, right? And that is not well received from community members. They will it's not well received from community members. And then, you'll also kind of, your brand's reputation is at stake. So you have to go about it. But if you, let's say on the flip side, you build a community around organic food and you clearly state this is run by ABC Organic, okay, and only ABC Organic is allowed to advertise in this. And, we are here to support and cultivate discussions between organic growers, so you have to set rules, community rules and guidelines, and then you start conversation, and that conversation is gold, really, because you do social listening, all they talk about, the biggest things that come up, are questions, are problems, because you're looking to your community to answer your problems, right? And then you can even take those answers, get permission from the people who ask those questions, and then answer that in a piece, a really good blog post, right? And it gives, as a content marketer, it gives me so much valuable content, insight into the different types of content I can create.
Yeah, that's right, man. It's whatever that you're sharing is really, really very valuable. And as what we can say, the start point essentially is to, as what you say, before you even build a community, is to understand the customer persona, right? And who are we really talking about, and that will also decide on which platforms that we can be in, because a lot of us are SMEs, so we have one marketing girl doing all the platform. you can't possibly tell her, I want all, TikTok and all that. After that, she will resign, So that, I mean, jokes aside, right? Jocelyn, on the video side of things, how has you seen, video marketing, also taking off in the last few years as part of community building?
So actually, what I want to add on to what Minoli has shared, right? I think that's very much in context of groups lah, right? Facebook groups. I think another good place to have groups is probably Telegram. And Telegram is, as those of you who actively use, you will know that they keep upgrading their features. You can even do live video in a Telegram group right now. Yeah, so if you ever want to do a very exclusive kind of community where your live is just there, yeah, that's pretty, I think that's pretty cool. It's something that I'm looking forward to try out. I would say, if you ask me about video content, definitely live videos is number one, is easiest because you don't have to edit. But after that, if you want to get small nuggets, micro videos out of that longer live video, you can always, edit it post-production. But that's the easiest way. I've seen a lot of successful cases where a community grew out of a very big loyal group of customers who came from the company's live videos. Right, it's not just applicable to, I know it's easy to say, it's the live sellers who are doing this really well. But you don't have to, because I think sometimes I think that part of the market is quite busy right now. It's a little bit pink ocean. I think not yet red. Purple or pink. Right, there's a lot of sellers and people love watching. Why? Because there's a call to action every minute ma.
Yes.
You are either asking about the size, how to cook and all that, or you're asking about the price, right? There's like people are so engaged on that kind of live video because there's something for them to do, to type, like maybe every minute or every 3 minutes, right? So that works well. But I think the very blue ocean right now is non-selling kind of live videos, which during COVID, during the lockdown, a lot of people was tapping on it, but definitely it has died down now, I feel. So actually, it's blue now. It's died now. So do it lah, because the market is empty for that right now.
Actually, on that point, right? I mean, for me personally, I do a lot. I used to do a lot of live, like during the COVID lockdown period, just to capture the wave and just to be there for people, because people are lost. People don't know. People lost jobs. People don't know what to do. So I do a series of like free digital marketing talks, right? And I've been sharing quite openly on my social media platform, and I by the nature of me just sharing and giving almost everything away or everything away, I was able to get a monthly retainer project from a European household electronics brand, right?
Wow.
To do digital marketing, their social media, their SEO for them, right? So that itself is testament to what we are trying to say.
Yeah.
And also the advantage of going live is this, right? If you have 1,000 Facebook page followers, right? When you go live, the advantages is, like, let's say for example Jocelyn is online, right? So it will inform Jocelyn first, and then Minoli is online, but Minoli doesn't like my page, but because Minoli is Jocelyn's friend, so it will inform Minoli also. So that means the reach is goes bigger, because for example Facebook Live, they want to compete with YouTube Live. All of them are trying to use this method to reach out to as many people as possible.
Yeah,
right?
actually, Facebook Live has doubled my Facebook following. Most of my crowd is on Facebook lah. Unfortunately, not so much on Instagram. So I don't really do Instagram Live, and I like to do educational live. So I need fancy stuff. I need to show multiple kind of stuff on my screen, and Instagram doesn't allow. So again, it's back to, you have to know where your target audience is, where people like to see you, where you are well received, and where people appreciate your content, right? Then you are also more motivated to go on lah.
Yes.
You go to a place where nobody appreciate you, then you do 2 times, 3 times, you don't want to do already, right?
That's
but
right.
I would say live video is a very quick way to, in a way, be it a brand or personal. It builds your credibility. It draws people to you, because straight away they see how you are as a person, right? You talk, or whoever the company sends out. So and it's real time. It's a great place to ask questions, get real feedback. And from there, as your viewership grows, then you can start having community, like what Minoli said just now, a group. So for a start, let's say you set up a group and you realize, and you feel, like people are not keen to join, it's hard to get people to join, etc. I think you can actually add live video into the mix. Yeah, because people love interaction. People now are just more lonely, I guess, for some reason.
Now the thing is, for our audience, yeah, you're right? Because work from home too much, right? Yeah. But like I mean, for our audience tuning in and listening, and later on audience that join us after the live, you might be wondering at the back of your mind, we're talking about content. What has community, what has going live got to do with everything? Because we are talking about SEO, right? But essentially, we need a good content on your website. This is to prevent people that if they are brought in by SEO traffic, organic traffic, that they will continue to stay on your content, and perhaps when they visit your website, they realize that you are on the various social media platforms, and that's where they follow you. When they follow you, over time your content builds up, and that's why we are talking about going live. In fact, going live, it almost costs zero. If you run Facebook ads, you still need to pay money. So going live is like zero, right? So people are there, people are waiting, people are hungry for information, for a certain
and interaction.
Yes, for a certain topic that you are anchoring, like let's say moms, pregnancy, childbearing, and raising of young children. Let's say your community is that. So you have 2,000 people. That means 2,000 people are interested in this. So you can go live. You can do panel discussions like this. That essentially your community will be engaged, and people will be participating. So while this is not directly associated to SEO, but we felt that this was important enough, given the breadth of the panel that we have assembled here, right?
Oh, but actually it does, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes when I mean, because the social media platforms are considered high quality sites by Google, right? So they
Yes.
do appear in results. Like you always see Facebook, even Instagram or Quora. They are
They do.
appearing on first page as well.
Yes, they do.
When
They
people
do.
search for something, or let's say they even search your company, then let's say they heard of you from person A, right? And then they want to judge your credibility.
Yes.
The first thing people do now is a name card, no use already. Name card, you can say whatever you want. You own self say, own self good, ma. Right? But whatever is online, right? That's different. Like, so your presence, I would say maybe right now people expect a minimum of a Facebook page and an Instagram account.
So
Right.
similarly, right?
Yeah,
Like
because
I'm
TikTok not yet appearing on Google, so
Correct.
I don't really see it. So
Not yet.
TikTok maybe is not very key right now unless you're selling to a much younger crowd probably.
Facebook definitely.
Yeah, so Facebook,
YouTube.
Instagram, yeah, minimum
also.
presence, I would
Yes.
say. So then, therefore, when people click in, they want to see what do you have on your page, what do you have on your Instagram feed, and then it tells people things lah about your brand, right? So if let's say in SME context, you are willing to put your face out there as an owner or a founder, that really increases the credibility. The reason why the Facebook Live sellers are doing so well is because the owners themselves put their face there.
Yeah.
And people just trust because, you're not going to run away. You already show us your face. The background is your house. Right? You dare to run away, man. If you have intention to do that, you won't show your face, lah, right? Basically.
Correct.
So that's
Correct.
very basic human logic. Even to the point where the older crowd who don't trust credit card for online transactions, they are happy to shop in this way because you don't really need a credit card to shop in that way. Yeah, so of course depends on your target audience. I see just now we have people we have a hypnotherapist, right? Just now, I don't know if you're here, right? And I find that doing live even increases more trust and credibility because people are very impressed if you can answer questions
Yes.
immediately on the fly as
Yes.
compared to a scripted video lah.
Yes.
Because a recorded video can be scripted.
Yes.
But when it's
that's right.
live, you handle whatever comes, right? And that definitely increases it showcases your expertise, right? You definitely have certain level of expertise if you can handle questions that just come at you straight away like that in a live setting.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so feel free to ask us because we are left in the last around 10 minutes of the session, 7 minutes so maybe I want to address a question that Vinay asked. This is more to SEO, I would say.
Sure.
How does DuckDuckGo rank versus Google in terms of comprehensiveness of results?
Okay, good question. DuckDuckGo is another search engine that was touted to take
Privacy.
over Google in some years back. But again, I use the term touted to take over Google. It never did take over Google. Okay, because Google is very strong, in a sense, because as what I shared, Google bought a series of technologies and in the early 2000s, I think 2011, Google bought almost one company a week in 2011 to consolidate its position. That's how serious Google is. And Google is constantly having algorithm changes because there is two group of camp. One is called the black hatters, and the black hatters are always, how can we cheat the Google? And then there's the white hatters, which white hatters like me. That's why I'm wearing a bit a cream color jacket because I'm a white hatter. And basically white hatters like us sleep very well at night because we know that whatever that we're doing, especially when our content is powered by Minoli, we will ensure that our content is ranked and Google don't penalize. So back to the question, DuckDuckGo is a search engine, but let's look at statistics and facts, right? Google is the number one search engine in the world with Google.com. Google is the second search engine in the world with YouTube.com. Let's not talk about China because China is a different beast by itself. If you want to get China, you just have to go and advertise on Baidu and their other social media, WeChat, right? Yes, yes. So coming back to that, having said that, then there's also another basis of argument. What about Bing? What about Microsoft Bing? People searching on Microsoft Bing, mainly from the US side of audience. So now the thing is that having Google, what about our good friend Yahoo as well, right? I'm sure there are some people that are searching for Yahoo, right? But coming back to that, if you optimize for the number one and number two search engine in the world, you actually optimize for the rest. So this question is very good, and let me explain by giving my golden nugget. This golden nugget was not planned, but because this question is here, right? Whoever that asked the question and the audience will benefit from it. Did you know that there are 8 types of SEO, right? And a lot of people just say, whatever content that I have on the on page, that's it, that's my SEO, and that's it, and then I get links, that's it. There are 8 types of SEO. the first type of SEO looks at technical SEO. Technical SEO looks at whether your website loads fast, whether you have SSL, the HTTPS connection, whether your website is mobile friendly. That is technical SEO. So you can have the best content in the world. You can optimize your content best, but your website loads slowly, and that's essentially it's almost dead, isn't it? Next you look at an important part, which is content SEO, which Minoli has shared all the content hacks, which is very important. When you write content, a lot of people just say, okay, I just write the content. I don't think about who am I writing to, right? If you don't think who you are writing to, then your content will speak to no one. Then later on, when you decide to join Facebook group, you will just anyhow join Facebook group. Then it's not that effective in your efforts to build community, right? So that's content SEO. After you have written a piece of content for human, then you optimize for the search engine. It's not the other way around. A lot of SEO practitioners, they write for the search engine, then they optimize for the human, or they don't even bother. So it end up being very robotic, repeating the words a lot of times, which after we read, it will bore us to death. And that's why
so that's basically the audience don't want to read.
Yeah,
There's
because
no
it's
point,
rubbish. It's just keyword spamming, right? And it will lead to a very high bounce rate, right? Bounce rate meaning less than 3 seconds they close off the browser. So what's the point? So that is content SEO, on-page SEO. Off-page SEO, then we look at getting links. So a lot of people say, I get as many links as possible. My website has 1,000 links in a week. That is able to rank, but unfortunately Google has the algorithm to catch you for that. So rather than that, you just build relevant links. I was able to rank good websites based on very little links that we were able to get, right? That is off-page SEO. So content SEO and on-page SEO and technical SEO is related to what you do on your website. Off-page SEO is what you do outside your website. Then there is also local SEO. If people searching in a particular vicinity, not so much on Singapore, but if in the States they are in a particular state like Washington and all that, and you are doing car wash. So how do you optimize for car wash Washington rather than car wash the whole US, right? So that is what we call local SEO. How you optimize and appear on the maps, right? Then there's also image SEO. How you optimize your images in Google Photos and your website so that it will appear as an organic result. Sometimes in the search, not only you see video pack being appeared, sometimes you see the image pack being appeared, a series of images. So that is image SEO. And of course, our good friend video SEO. After you have consulted with Minoli on the content and Jocelyn on producing a good video, you have a video, then you optimize, then you consult me to do video SEO, right? And video SEO essentially will help your video rank high in Google or rank in page 1. And finally, if you're doing e-commerce, there is this thing called e-commerce SEO, which is how you optimize your categories, how you make sure that your products are properly optimized, right? So imagine Google walking into a department store and your website is the department store, right? Do Google find a men's Bermudas in the female's skirt section? That's what you mean. If that's the way, then your website is all over the place. It talks about content planning, it talks about your navigation and all that. Yeah, so that's my golden nugget.
Oh, I think you sort of answered the other question that we have. Someone, I'm not sure because it says anonymous attendee.
Okay.
Is SEO harder now? Is content just the way to go? So I wanted to ask something just now when you were sharing the 8 types of SEO. I from what I understand, the current algo that they have, quality of content is ranking high in the mix, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think, of course, Google is always fighting the bots. So that's why I guess in a way they are slowly moving away from technical things that people can easily use bots to rank SEO.
Yes.
Therefore, content quality and how do they see it? They see it by the human behavior. How long people, that one cannot fake it, right? Your visitors, how long do they stay on your site?
Yes.
That indicates, right, to Google that you have good quality content. Of course, maybe the more pages you have also indicates you put a lot of content, etc. Right? So all of these things.
Yes, the time dwell on page, right? That is important. So as Minoli can agree also, right? Content helps helps people get engaged and all that. And then when you have content, you write a piece of content but you don't do SEO on the content, that is useless. You have a video, you don't do SEO on the video, is useless. So to answer the question quite broadly, it's not content SEO is better or SEO is better. In fact, or even video marketing is better. In fact, it's a nice marriage between the three, and that's why we have three of us here.
But the question of is it harder now? I think harder is very relative and subjective lah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes. It is. It becomes harder if, for example, you are a property agent. Okay, you're a property agent. There are so many property agents now take SEO class and they do their own website. Then you are up against. It becomes harder if your competitor are constantly working on improving their SEO. But if your competitor is not improving or don't even have a website, then even if don't even have a website, or the guy didn't update his website for 10 years, the guy has his website for 10 years but he never update the website for 10 years, but you are new, you come out and you do all the types of SEO that I tell you, and you optimize your website, you can outrank that guy. That website, the domain age as 10 years, you can outrank them easily, because the easy and hard, it depends on whether your competitor is sleeping and not working on the SEO, or whether your competitor is actively working on it. Even social media, right? Even they get content strategies like Minoli to look at their content. They get a video strategies like yourself to look at videos and all that. As long as they're constantly doing something, because even assets in social media count as assets to rank, because Google now looks at ranking signals as or rather as what they call social signals, links from social media as a ranking vector today. Yeah.
Okay. For example, I have a Facebook page and I'm going to put that my website, because Facebook has a column for you to input your website. So that's how Google will know, right? Oh, this page belongs to this website.
Yes.
And then you put more content, you have a lot of followers, people are engaged with your posts, it helps as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
I would say, Google's having a system that values quality, values credibility as well.
Yes. Okay,
Because if
keep
you're
your
not
questions
credible-
coming in.
If you're not credible, you cannot get that kind of numbers lah, I would say. Okay, Anthony asked last question, and then I'll do a wrap up, so don't leave yet, guys. Besides personality and charisma, how can you build an audience and keep their attention, say, on Facebook Live?
Okay, this one video queen answer.
Honestly, maybe if you ask this question, maybe you come from an angle of maybe you feel you don't have the personality or the charisma. So there's two school of thoughts about this. Number one, I feel your vibe, a bit cliche lah, but your vibe attracts your tribe.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, right. For the way I present, maybe a vast majority of 80% of people generally are okay. They like it. They can accept it, right? But maybe some people have more different personality. But it's fine, because you will attract the people who like how you are, right? Just like in real life, not everybody wants to be your friend, right? And that's fine, right? You don't need everybody to be your friend as well. You only need the right people to be your friend. Okay, that's one. So it's the same like what I said just now. Go where you are appreciated, even in terms of platform. Yeah, so maybe, and I would say actually you sort of need different personality for the different platforms. Like TikTok has a personality, Instagram has, then Facebook has a different personality, and then Twitch live streamers have a very different culture. I think I go Twitch, maybe cannot make it, right? It's a very different culture. I don't play games. I can't even talk about such stuff. Yeah. So secondly, again, I think it's back to what Minoli mentioned just now. You have to know what your audience want. What kind of questions do they have? What problems can you solve for them? There are some very deadpan video creators, or they get famous just by being very deadpan. So it's not about having a vibrant personality, then you can do well on video or on a live video.
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course the only key thing is it shouldn't be that you freeze lah when you are on camera lah. As long as you As long as you don't freeze, you can still talk. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about whether am I charming or whatever. You look at our ministers, all of them different personality. What different people like the different ministers, right? So it's the same. It's the same. Just be where you be who you are for real, but just go with the intention of providing value to people who watch your content. So what value can you bring to them? Just think of that. Yeah.
Maybe I can add something to that.
Minoli, yeah, chime in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, totally what you said, Jocelyn. So, I would say from a content perspective, like if you look aside from charisma and how you present, plan your content well. What I would say is if you're planning live, Facebook live content, do up a plan as to maybe like a series. Do up a list of questions you will answer so that you can lead people like when through this series. So when you do your first series, you're talking about, let's say it's a parent audience, you're talking about how to how to bottle feed or wean your baby from, so you're following from breastfeeding to bottle feeding, right? And then you say, tomorrow I'm going to talk about this, and you lead them, so you have a plan. And that's how you kind of bring your audience along with you as well. And then aim to answer certain questions when you're talking. So don't just, yes, a big portion of it is share your experience, but answer those critical questions that your audience has, right? And that's why people will keep coming to you, because you answer questions, you give them something of value. So always think about the value you're giving and plan that ahead of time. So if you go to your audience with a great execution is great, but great planning is good too, right? So plan well, and in addition to the execution of, and then your personal flair, I would say plan the content very, very well, so that there's a flow, and there's a flow that it means something. Even if somebody was to go and watch all your live videos or whatever, there's a plan and there's a flow. Yeah.
So for me, it's not really about personality per se, right? It's also about camera presence. I give you an example. In this example, I'm looking at you, at the audience. In this example, I'm looking at my notes. In this example, I'm putting the camera too low.
Oh, this one
And
cannot.
and my friend actually gave me a feedback when I was doing live, right? He said, why are you looking down on the audience? I said, I don't understand why you're looking down. Then I realized that actually my camera was a bit lower, so I appear like as though I'm looking down on the audience. And if I'm reading the notes, and throughout the whole live discussion I'm just reading the notes or whatever that I want to present, then you guys will find it very impersonal. So sometimes personality, the person have the personality, but the camera presence, right? I think that is something that I think Jocelyn teaches that, right? I mean, she has a whole course on how to do live stream and stuff like that. But yeah, but essentially that's it, right? Okay, back to you, Jocelyn.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, this is a great question. I think toward the end, I would say, I think there's so many questions. Some of you might not know what to ask right now, or you might have more specific questions. I think feel free to connect with us on our social media. Right, you can basically, if you search our names and company names together, you'll be able to find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, yeah, whichever works for you. Yeah, so feel free to come and drop us a DM. Like Anthony, I do have a live stream planner that you can plan the flow for a live stream episode. So if you want that, just come and find me on Facebook or Instagram. Yeah, or LinkedIn, and I'm happy to send that to you.
Actually, what we can do is for example, Minoli and Jocelyn, if you have any content or handouts that you find it useful, we can compile together. Because actually, I have once we ended, I have a free gift for everyone watching this show and on the replay as well. But let's see if we have.
So
any
how can
final
they get
questions?
it from you?
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, Sammy has shared our LinkedIn links in the chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, so you guys just click and you can just drop us messages on LinkedIn, right?
So okay, how you can get this
Is
free
it a
gift?
typo? It says free gift.
Oh, sorry.
You need to put HTTPS because that's how Zoom is. You put the HTTPS in front. Yeah, otherwise it doesn't become a hyperlink.
Okay, so
Right.
it's freegift.imseoking.com. And basically I will
Wow.
you sign in, you join this community is completely free, and I will liaise with Jocelyn and Minoli to put in whatever free gift that they have for you.
Wow, free
And
training.
yeah, and we will also make this video available inside that nice little area that we have. Okay.
Wow, great,
Yeah.
great. Thank you. So to wrap up, I don't want to do the wrapping up because you guys have been hearing us for an hour. Maybe, right, I just like to hear from the audience. What are your 2 key takeaways that you got from this entire session? Because I'm sure all of you come from different background. You have absorbed different key points for yourself. So I would like to hear from you guys. What are your 2 key takeaways from this session? And share with us in the chat. And I can share some of your feedback as well. Your 2 key takeaways. Wow. Okay, I see one man, Fernando. He sort of summarized everything into 3 words. Specific is terrific.
Sounds familiar, Minoli.
Speak to everyone, speak to no one.
Yep.
It's really not easy for a lot of traditional businesses to think that way because in Singapore we got this kiasu culture, right?
Yes.
So they are very afraid of excluding people. When you ask them to reduce their audience. How about the rest? We have like 30 over people here. Okay. And then he said you just found out there are kings and queens in Singapore. Hey, I'm sure that's not your key learning point, right?
Yeah. So anybody has just please share, because
share
so
with
that
us what do you think was your biggest takeaway from this session.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I just want to throw in one last very short summary lah. I would say the key is with SEO, when you bring people to your main site, which is your website, that it is the moment people land on your site, the game changes to the content really. So there's 2 parts of the game. One is getting people into the door. But once people come into the door, why is it you spend 2 hours in Daiso? Right, and spend a lot of money. Yeah, the moment it comes into the door, it is a strategy of content, how to keep hooking people. Like when it comes to text content, I would say maybe at even every paragraph, you need to do something besides having the right keywords, right, that leads people there. You need to do something to keep the person to keep reading and keep scrolling. Yeah, rather than
Yes.
if you give everything away sometimes in the first paragraph, then the person read the first paragraph, then they leave already, bye-bye.
Yep.
Right, so it's sort of like, I think the keyword hook, of course we can't really cover that, but the word hook, right, is very important right now, because in videos we need hooks. I think in writing you need hooks as well. And it's no longer just the headline being a hook. If you want people to keep scrolling or keep watching the video, you need to have micro hooks along the way as well. Yeah. Okay, we have, so Karen says be not afraid of writing in-depth articles. Yes, I think same for video as well. If you want to differentiate yourself, and everyone is doing the basic stuff already, so you can go and dare to be different and do the not so basic stuff. But of course, again, I would say, like we have mentioned since the beginning, consider back what your target audience needs. If your target audience are people at very fundamental stage, then you go and talk about very deep stuff, then it might not be relevant for them lah. Yeah. All right. Okay, great. So I think, yeah, I'm sure everyone has had your takeaway. We are happy to see you guys connect with us on LinkedIn. Yeah. So if you do have any more questions for us, feel free to to connect with us at LinkedIn. So for Exabyte, Sammy, do you have any other things that you need to share with the people?
Yes, wow. So yeah, a really insightful panel discussion. Okay, and also thank you so much, Jocelyn, Eugene, and also Minoli for sharing with us the tips and knowledge. So yeah, thank you so much, and hope to see you again in our upcoming event. So before I end this webinar, I would like to inform all the attendees, please help us to complete the post-webinar survey. And we also recorded the session today, and we will inform you when the video recording is ready via email, okay? So that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the session today. So I see you guys next time. And take care, everyone.
Thank you everyone for spending 1 hour with us.
Yeah,
See you soon.
See you.
Bye.
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 Leading cloud hosting provider since 2001 with 20 years of experience. But today, we are more than that. We power over 160,000 businesses worldwide, covering SMEs, government agencies, corporate companies, individuals, and more. Offering domain name, web hosting, server, cloud, managed e-commerce, digital marketing, business solutions, marketing tools, and more. With our core values in mind: reliable, affordable, simplified, and advantage. Using the power of technology to grow your business online. Exabytes, Southeast Asia's leading all-in-one business, cloud, digital, and e-commerce solution provider.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.